Hey guys, it's Krishanti with Krishanti.com talking about psychic development and spiritual and personal growth. And this video is for all of you guys who are learning how to be psychic and intuitive and want to do it professionally or just kind of on a larger scale for more and more people. And so this is my little kind of advice for you. When you're starting out and you're practicing and you're kind of, what is that word, like you're working, getting your chops or whatever, oftentimes there will come the opportunity to work at psychic fairs or at parties doing readings like tarot readings or clairvoyant readings or energy healings. And on one hand, it's a great way to really understand deep in the trenches with loads of people how to get the information flowing and what people need and to get, kind of get in that psychic mode. So it's fantastic on one hand, but on the other hand, and this is what I want to talk about for those of you who are really sensitive like I am, it can be downright dangerous and actually physically and psychologically detrimental to do too many of those events. Or even to do one of those events really with too many people. It can literally make you sick. Now, everybody is different, and I have a friend who is a medium and astrologer and psychic, and she does cards, and she can do tons of people in a day. Like, she can just read a bunch of people and it's fine and keep going. Now, I, on the other hand, am so sensitive. It's almost it's a fault and it limits me, but it's kind of how I'm built. And I can't work with a bunch of people at once and do a ton of readings. It just doesn't work for me. Now, here's my story of why I'm giving you the warning about the psychic fairs and parties and what can happen. So I did way back when do my fair share of your psychic fairs where I would do 15 readings. I think once I did I might have done 20, but it was like this sort of setup where you're there and then like people just come for short readings, like they just keep coming, and then you're like, all right, the next one. And I was doing cards at the time. It's funny because my cards haven't been working for me lately, the tarot. I think it's a part of my developmental stage where now I'm being led to or drawn to really work harder on tuning into the guides, the Ascended Masters that I work with, and the I Ching oracles works pretty well for me now still, but kind of relying on those versus the cards. But anyway, I would do cards and like people would just come one after the other. And I could feel like my battery's draining kind of by the 8th person. But one time I did so many, again, it was like 10 or 15. It was one of those psychic fairs that the next day I felt like I'd been fried, like there was an electric circuitry in my body that had been like zapped, and the next day I was really so like kind of sapped of my life force energy that I felt like I couldn't do much of anything really, except to really try to recover and zone out. And what you want to be careful of if you are sensitive, now you might be one of those powerhouse people that can do it, and that's awesome if you are, but if you're like me, what happens is like first of all, you don't know who's coming, and one after the other, you might get someone like I know this is going to sound gross, but I would do these with friends, and we started to feel like it was a bordello, really. And because you are having an exchange with these people, it's like an energetic exchange, but a sexual stuff is a sexual exchange. So it's just like, there's the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and you don't know who's got some disease that you could catch, like in the course of like all these readings. But we would joke like that, but then not really, because it's like, geez, this is like way too much. But I would say if you know you're sensitive and you're going to do that, or you feel like you need to, because again, it's what people do. It's what kind of the way the model is set up right now. One of those models where you reach as many as possible. You do all these demo readings, you get drained or whatever. And then you recover, and it helps you grow your business and everything, and also helps you gain experience. But if you're going to do that, I would say, and you're sensitive, I would say try to put a cap if you're able to. And just, if you've never done one before, don't do 10 or 20. I mean, try to stick to like 6 or 8 is a lot even. I mean, right now I just don't do that. I just stopped because my health and my, all that is more important and valuable to me than doing tons and tons of readings. And what I've noticed, I can give you tips and tools and things to use for protection, but I've noticed that they're not all that, like in and of themselves, they don't help. Okay, so I used all kinds of those, your black tourmaline and black obsidian, and I would put tourmaline, like tuck it into, sorry if I made a noise, I hit the mic, which is right here. I would tuck it into my bra, I mean, like all this crystal, and then like do all these things. And the crystal in and of itself doesn't deflect the energy for you, as it can help mildly so, but it's not like that's going to make it all better. But I would say if you want to do that, try that all your dark crystals. Again, black tourmaline or black obsidian is really good. I've heard iron. I haven't tried that, but I heard iron helps. Like an iron ring can help repel negativity. I think someone on YouTube had suggested that iron will help. Back in the day when I would do these things, my fellow friends, intuitives, would have like a glass of water on the table that they're working on, and the water, we set the intention of the water to draw the negative energy in, and then the glass of water would be like filled with bubbles kind of by the end. You could do your exercises and your breaks in between, but often when you're in those kind of settings, parties especially, nobody cares about you having time to do your 30-minute grounding and centering meditation. It's more like a numbers game. But I would advise you, if you're at all able to, at least take a break halfway. If you're able to schedule in a 45-minute break, eat something, you've got to eat, and then do a middle pillar meditation. You can look it up, or I've talked about it before too. That will help you. I'm just pausing because I'm like talking. There's so much to talk about here, but one thing I do want to say while I'm talking about that is I have a workshop on my website, krishanti.com, called Psychic Protection for Empaths and Sensitive People. And in that, I have a middle pillar and another protection meditation that you can do. That said, though, all those tips and those things are there to aid you, but they in and of themselves won't provide you with the barrier or the protection you need if you're sensitive to go through all those people at once. So I would also say, if there's any other way, save yourself the pain that I and fellow intuitives that I know have been through doing all this stuff, and then think of another way you can do it so you don't have to do that. Or if you wanted to do something with a friend, and let's say, or 2 or 3 friends, maybe your friend does one and then you take your break, and you know what I mean, like intersperse. Again, though, I think seeing too many people at once is just a recipe for disaster. Again, if you're sensitive like me. I feel like, to explain a little more about that, like the metaphor about the disease and all that, it's not just that, it's a thing that people, I don't know if they really talk about. There are hazards to doing this work. It's not easy. And I didn't really understand just how hard things could be, but you do have people with dark entities, attachments, spirits, like all that gross stuff that you have to protect yourself from. You have people then who are angry and upset and not feeling good, and they're coming to you, and some are very nice and you can work with them, and some know how to hold their energy back, but others don't. And because you're the representative, I could hear my voice getting like because you're the representative of higher power, of information or of knowledge. Some people almost like look at you as if you have the ability to, like God, kind of tell them what their life is going to be like or what's going on, like you're omniscient. And sometimes they will send barbs, like kind of like a psychic attack at you because they're so angry. And you get a lot of that in those group, those things where they want the free reading, or they want, they're at a party and they're drinking and they want that, or a psychic fair kind of thing where they're just like, tell me my future, instead of like the more intimate, quiet, beautiful setting of like, you already tell them like, here's what I do, and they come in with the expectation of like, this is the sacred healing work we're going to do. So that's kind of the difference there too. So in a nutshell, I think that's what I'm trying to talk about and say, like, just if there's a way you cannot do it, or be aware that if you want to try it once, you might get fried and be tired. I would say if that happens, hydrate as much as possible, schedule a healing for yourself that night or the next day, meditate, sea salt baths, any kind of self-care, any kind of cleansing rituals. And don't like interact with other people. Like, try to not have to do anything for anybody the next day, and just really cocoon and take care of yourself. All of this, once again, I'll restate, is only necessary if you are hypersensitive, like I am. So I wish you all the best on your path, and I'm excited if you're learning how to do all this too. I think the more the merrier. The world needs us. So, if you feel the calling, get on that and keep working on it, because I just feel like the more of us that are armed and able and ready to help each other and also help fellow healers, the better. So that's my piece for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay.